Hey everyone, thanks again for joining me on day 17 of Daily Affirmations with Big Joe. I got a good start to my morning today and got up and got my morning routine taken care of. I got a bit more energy today when I woke up in the last 2 days. So that's good. I was able to get my list more detailed and my day planned out for the day. Yesterday, I had a good day with my friend Harry. Before the rain, we went out and played a round of golf over in Reedsport. And yeah, I did about as average as I have been doing. Some good shots, some bad shots, but overall, I just had a good time and had a good day yesterday. My plans today are to take care of some biz. I need to go to work and make some canned coffee for the stores around town. I also need to go and check the canned stock around town to make sure of where we're at after a week of sales, since we were out for a couple weeks before that. But other than that, just knocking out a few things around the shop that I have on my previous list that I'd like to get taken care of. And yeah, just trying to be proactive today mostly. I did my reading this morning and I haven't finished chapter 10 yet, but it was a good read this morning. It got me thinking a lot about some things that I've thought a lot about in the past too, which happens to be just relationships and how I find it fascinating and interesting how so many relationships seem to fail over time, like some a long time and some over a short time. But it just is weird to me how people can spend a majority of their life together and then fall out of love somehow. And it just is a trip and something that I try to analyze and figure out why or how do these things happen? How do we let our cherished relationships diminish to nothing, when we once cherished them so greatly? And Jordan touched on a lot of those reasons in my reading today. And I'm just going to share some of what I remember from the reading, which has to do with, uh, you know, blind, what is it called? Like blindful, like basically like you're just choosing to be blind to certain things, I guess is what I'm getting at. Say like, for instance, you don't like something your partner's doing and you just choose to not say anything about it, and let it steep inside you as being just like a skeleton in your closet or like a dragon, so to speak, that isn't being tended to. You're not paying attention to it, and it's just going to grow into a bigger and bigger problem over time and manifest itself into being a destructor, I think, when we don't pay attention to our failures, or our problems, then they just manifest into bigger and bigger problems and eventually destroy the life that we've built. And a big part of that, I feel like, is defining these things, these words, to a greater degree. Like how would you define, friendship? How would you define love? How would you define success, or how would you define failure? Because it's really important to define these things clearly in your mind, so that way you can be honest with yourself when you are failing, or what you want to see happen with your life or with your relationship or with yourself. And by being less detailed in your descriptions, you're allowing yourself to have holes in your system for those dragons to grow, I guess. Like uh, the more that you can be detailed in your vision of your future, like the future you desire, the self that you would like to perceive yourself to be, or the relationship you'd like to see yourself have, you have to see that fully in all of its detail. So that way, when you start noticing failures in your vision or in yourself, then you can start addressing them. You can communicate with them, and try to resolve them. And I think that's the biggest hurdle that I think people have in front of them, is learning to communicate, and learning to work through problems together. The more that you can work on things together and accomplish those things in front of you, the stronger your bond becomes, and the more that you guys can count on one another to get through the hard times. So I don't know, I just find it interesting how people give up on so many levels of life when it gets tough. And those are the times where it takes courage to work on things and stick it out, and really put forth the effort required to maintain a happy existence with one another. I think a world full of friends and family is much more productive than a world full of anger and enemies, and destruction. So let's just do our best to reflect on ourselves and our actions and our relationships, and just try to, work together to mend the hardships between us and fix the problems that exist in this world that we share. So just a few thoughts of mine and what I think about that. And I'm going to do my best to try to keep my relationships together and my family together. And I want to try to right some of the wrongs of the past and try to give my kid a future with a little bit less suffering and heartache than maybe I had to go through to get here. But I do know that life is suffering, and, we're all going to have to go through our hardships to be strong individuals. Otherwise, we'll just be coddled and weak, and I don't want that either. So we all got what we got coming to us, so let's not make it any worse than it has to be. So I got quite a bit to do today. So if you guys have any questions or comments on this video, or maybe what you'd like me to speak about in the next video potentially, go ahead and leave a comment for me. And I hope you guys have an awesome day today, and I love you, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. And let's not run from our problems. Let's just get after it and fix them, so that way we can forget about them and move forward in life and focus on the good stuff. Have a good day, everyone.